back in the day, it was if you wanted to know whether people liked you or not, it was all on Pantip. So what I got was a lot of let's use the word disagreements. What's wrong with me? I know I can't change how I look. Correct? She is the one.
Okay. How did you know?
It just happened. It's something that was kind of like obvious. At the same time, you questioned it a bit.
So basically, you said if we put you on a card quiz, you'd be doing really good.
Yes.
Okay.
I did say that. Now I remember.
Let's prove it right now. Yeah, card quiz.
I'll give you a little secret. My worst subject was English.
Really?
And you know my speaking, reading, listening, writing. Which one do you think was the worst?
I think writing?
No.
Speaking?
I failed on most of my speaking exams.
This is Comedy Featuring. My name is Vic and welcome to the show. Our guest today has always been on our guest list for some obvious reasons. He speaks great English, that's one. And second of all, he's very talented as an actor. And from what I've heard, he's very lovable. He has a great work ethics, never has scandals or dramas or things like that. Consistently gets great roles and always delivers. So he's great. And of course, that's why we need to have him on the show. And then we watch his long talk in English with his friend on Alex Randall's YouTube channel. It's the podcast called T2T. You guys should go and check it out. Okay, and from watching that talk in English, I kind of feel like I know him a lot more now because by speaking in English, he expresses himself much more. And I think that's why we really want to talk to him even more. And he's here now. I'm grateful and very happy that he said yes to this, to comedy, and he's here. So let's go say hi to James Ma. สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ
Hi.
Hi everybody. Hello sir.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
How you
finally.
doing?
Very good, very good.
All right. So first things first, let's clarify this for me.
Yes.
Your name.
Yes.
When it's written in English, it's M.A., right?
It's
But
just
when
M.A.
it's written in Thai, it's
Yeah.
รอเรือการัน at the end.
Yeah, so it becomes an M-A-R, right?
Yeah, so I feel like I need to say Mar. So is it Ma or Mar?
It's just M-A, Ma.
Okay.
And I really don't know why it has a raw galan, but
Yeah.
apparently that's how it's written in Thai. So people perceive it as M-A-R.
Yeah.
Sometimes they even add an S and they think I'm related to
Mars?
Bruno Mars, but then I say thank you because that's like a very big compliment. But then it's just M.A. It's
Or
a
maybe
Chinese last name.
People would be afraid it would confuse them if you say like Ma, like Ma, Ma, Sara, and
I think
it translates into like come. So เจมมาหรือเปล่า something
well,
like that.
technically that's how you would pronounce it, right? It's just mani อะไรเงี้ย But then I think just the way the Thai alphabet works or the way you have to write it correctly,
Sure.
it becomes a M.A. มอมาสระอารอเรือกะ
รอ
ลัน
เรือกะลันแล้วกันจะได้ไม่ confused with the verb มา
Probably. I think that's why it's like that. But then once you change it to English, people will add an R and S, and,
Yeah.
I become like the planet Mars or something. But then like either way, I'm all good with it. I'm fine with it. It's nice. And people like to, they ask you a lot that question. Is it a R? Is there an S? Or is it just an M-A?
What's the correct way to spell your name?
Are you related to Bruno Mars? Are you from Mars? And then they'll continue to the joke like James Ma. ไม่มา isn't
เจม
here
ส์มาหรือเปล่าหรือเจมส์จะไม่มา
and then they end up going like I'm James Pai, like I'm James Go. I'm like okay folks, it's fine, but then it's fine. I really don't mind as long as you know that you know who I am, you know that you've seen me before.
Yeah.
I really don't mind if you don't know my name, but then as long as you know me for who I am, that's
of
all
course
that matters.
We do know you. We know your work. We know you as a person, and we've seen a lot of interviews of yours, but mostly, of course, in Thai.
Yeah.
And that podcast of
Yes.
Alex's, right?
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that talk.
ขอบคุณครับ Thank you.
A long talk in English.
Yep.
First time ever, I think, that I
Yes.
saw you speak in English that long and
Yeah.
very naturally and very
Thank you.
very comfortably too. Yeah. So I think you sound a lot more natural when speaking English.
I think because since I was born, my my mother tongue, my mother language is English.
Right.
Because even though I was born here, I went to international school here, and my mom and dad would always talk to me in English.
Right.
Because they kind of understood that Thai would be picked up very easily because of our environment, but English was something that they wanted to instill in me since I was young. So that's why I think naturally the brain functions in English better. The way I think, when I talk to myself on a daily basis, tends to be in English. So, if you have your conversations with yourself, like, oh, what am I going to eat today? Or what am I doing today? It's not like, hey, วันนี้จะกินอะไร? It's actually more like, what am I going to eat today? It tends to, in my head, it's always in English.
Right.
So I think maybe that's why people will get to see that I look more natural in English. But of course, Thai is also very strong for me because I need to use it for work.
Yes.
So I almost have two personas in many ways. Like when I am speaking in English, I'll come out a different way. But in Thai, I look another way as well. So
exactly my point, like two personas.
Yep.
It's like you have two versions.
Yeah.
Inside you have English version, you have Thai version. And those versions don't necessarily like align in some context too, right?
Yeah, it's very weird because when I watched the podcast back, I never saw myself speaking in English for this long as well. Because usually I'm the person speaking, so I wouldn't be seeing myself.
Yeah.
But once I saw it, and I just felt like, I do look a bit different. I do come out a bit different, and I think it's fine because language is a barrier, and at the same time, it's also a vehicle. When I say vehicle, I mean like the language has its mood and tone. It has its way of speaking. So everyone who speaks different languages will look different.
Sure.
Because if you watch a movie, like let's just say you watch a Thai movie or movie that's spoken in Korea or English, the way that person reacts and talks is totally different. It's also because of the language. So let's just say you have like a doctor from Korea, from Thai, and from let's just say America, right? Or even from England, they all have different tones and different ways to speak, gestures and stuff like that. It's all different. So I think that in itself is gonna create a different persona. It's not that I'm trying to be somebody else.
Yeah,
you understand? But it's just because of that language is different. It makes you look different. So you might say like. That's why there are stereotypes, right? Thai people are like so and so. Chinese are so and so. If you go to, let's just say, a European country like, let's just say, France,
right?
It's a different persona, right?
Yeah.
Different stereotype.
Yeah.
I think that's why that's where language is so amazing. Is once you know it, you have a different persona, but you are still you.
Yeah, it's like you have more tools to use to like express yourself.
I think so.
To convey
I agree.
anything.
I agree.
Yeah, it's almost like you put on different clothes and take on different roles.
Yes.
Yeah, and
you
then
dress
you
up
talk
like
different.
You dress
and
up
your
differently.
Attitude.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't. Let's just say you can't speak English and compare it to Thai.
Yeah.
Because the language is so different. So you either do English or Thai, and it's okay to look different in it because the person inside is still functioning the same way. It's just how that's why I use the word vehicle. It's like if you drive out in a different car, you're gonna look different or feel different, right? You drive it out in a pickup truck or an electric car, it's a different thing, different
The analogy is so you, like talking about driving. And use that as an analogy.
I try to use whatever.
You love driving, right? You love cars.
I'm like everybody. Well, not everybody, but most boys and girls nowadays, people love cars. Love to drive because it's something we do on a daily basis. So, and it's a good analogy because you're moving, right?
True.
You're going somewhere. You're doing something. You're driving to work. You're driving to. It's something going forward. Sometimes you have to go backwards as well. To go forwards again.
Yeah.
So that's why I use driving as a comparison a lot.
I love that because it's an experience, right? When you drive in a different car, it gives you like different experience or feels.
Definitely. Yeah. So very much like language.
True.
So if you use a language, you're gonna come out differently. You're gonna have a different version of yourself, which is totally fine. It's what makes a language so beautiful. People you might not understand what they're saying, but it just sounds right. You know, so that's why it's good if you can have a few languages under your belt, but if not, just stick to one. It's totally fine as well.
I agree. And it's not like one language is better than the other.
No,
just
definitely.
like it's your choice. If you have more, you can use more.
Exactly.
All right.
Definitely.
Okay. So we have a lot to talk about because you know what? You have talked to Alex on his podcast about a lot of things, right? And I was thinking like, what else can I talk to him about? Because you guys cover pretty much like all the stuff there is to talk about. But one thing that you didn't get to talk to Alex back then is your new lakon because at the time it didn't haven't aired yet, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so now you have your new lakon. It just came out like for like 2 weeks. Yeah. Okay.
2 episodes just went on air by the time we're filming. It's called My Secret Zone. In Thai, it's called น่านฟ้าชลาลัย. It's probably my.
What is it in English again?
My Secret Zone.
My Secret Zone. Okay. Right.
So,
น่านฟ้าชลาลัย.
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us about what the story is about and your characters?
All right. So I play Nan Tawan. So hence the name Nan Fa Shalalai. So the story is about 2 families that are very close together, and I play Nan as the son of one family, and Nam is the daughter of the other family. We've been friends, you know, since we were kids, very close, and we developed a very close brother and sister relationship. A tragic incident happened to her family where her parents got killed. And then I had to step in to become the person to take care of her. That's why we became even more closer. And once we grew older, you know, Nantawan developed a very secret relationship, a very like, you know, from a brother and sister relationship turned into a very pink one, a very lovely one. And he's struggling to make that jump from a brother and sister to you know, a normal relationship because of all that they've been through and the history, and of course knowing a lot about what happened to her family. So this series, My Secret Zone, is a drama and also a comedy in many ways if you watch the other couples. But then from my point of view, is a romantic drama, and
there's some actions in that too.
Actually, actions are quite limited actually.
I see.
Just in the trailer. It's just to show that I had to take care of her, and I'll go through everything to protect and take care of Nam, which is the actress and played by Nicha.
Yeah. So what do you think of a person like Nan? So would you be friends with him? Would you hang out with him?
I would do some things with him, but I wouldn't hang out with him. He's very obsessed. You know, he's very obsessed. He's very obsessed. He's very
you get very possessive.
Oh, very. He won't let go of things, but at the same time, he is a very I'd say he's a very good person. He knows what he likes. He doesn't care about what other people thinks. And if he loves you, hopefully he'll love me if I'm friends with him. If he loves you, he'll go through everything. He'll go through brick walls to protect you. He'll go through, you know, he'll do anything to protect the person he loves. So that's why I use the word, you know, obsessive. And he's obsessed with protecting Nam, not only because of what has happened in the past, but also because he truly loves her, you know, from a long relationship since they were young kids, you know, young adults, then he finally realized that, all right, it's not the same anymore. It's more pink now. It's instead of just siblings, right? So he's trying to make that step. I hope by the time you guys have watched this, you'll have seen him make some moves.
Right. So he's very obsessive. In relationship
and his work, I guess.
Okay.
And so he does like investments, and he does all that, you know, very number based work, which requires him to be very, you know, possessive and obsessive about everything. And he's very like he's very bossy. He's very bossy. He doesn't like anybody much. He likes to work on his own. He doesn't trust anybody except for him and his assistant. And that's about it, really. So with my age right now, with my experience of life, it's time it was time to do a role that is very, you know, gray and also at the same time very relatable.
Yeah, not too traditionally พระเอก
Yeah, there's a time and place for that,
Yeah.
and I've done it, and I've enjoyed it. Trust me, it's lovely to do. But this role is different, where I think it relates to people. So when I say like brother and sister relationship, I mean they're not really brothers and sisters,
Of course
right?
they're not.
But I'm sure everybody has known somebody that they feel very close to, and they use the word brother and sister, especially in our Thai culture. Everyone is P, Nong, Pa, Me, right? So everybody becomes, to become very close, you change from a friend to a brother or sister. And of course, the next thing is you feel very attached to them. You feel very good with them. Therefore, you become closer. Once you become closer, you either stay that way or you think you might change a bit, you know, it might turn pink. It might turn into a proper love. And I think this one is something that people can relate to a lot because, I mean, I've known friends and people who go through this exact feel. And it's a great feel. And at the same time, it's a bad feel because you're scared that you're going to probably lose something very like precious to yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I think this role is good as it relates to people a lot. More than what I've done in the past.
Yeah. And I like it how the definition of พระเอก has changed into something different, or people are more open to the definition of พระเอก It doesn't have to, or the พระเอก doesn't have to be like 100% like white or perfect in any way. Like they have flaws too. Yeah, they're human. So in that way, of course they're more relatable and I guess more fun for an actor to play, right?
Definitely, as I've mentioned about, you know, experience. After you've done 10 or so lakons, you feel that you experience a lot more, and you can use that experience into making a role more full, more wholesome, I guess, more complete. So by saying that Nantawan is a gray character and more relatable, I totally agree, and I'm happy that I got the chance to do this role, and I'm happy that people are opening up to the role. As of right now, people are still saying that, oh, he's very lovely, he's very heartwarming, he's like the best brother, he's like a there's a word they use, he's like a microwave, he's like so warm, he's like a walking oven, he's warm, you know, he'll make you feel good. But after you watch a few episodes, you might start to question, like,
just you wait.
Is he okay? Is he fine? What's wrong with this guy? You know, but like I said, everybody when you say everybody has their own storyline, everybody has their own role, so it's good that people are more open to it.
Yeah. So as an actor, of course, I think playing a challenging role or the role that would challenge you in some way could be a very good thing because it could improve you as an actor too. And you have faced some of the challenges before in your previous roles. One being that your look doesn't necessarily match the expectation of people, especially for those who, let's say, have read the novel. For example,
you hit it spot on.
Right?
I mean, that's one of my first challenges since I started working, and I'll explain why it's stuck ever since. So my first lakon was Suphaburush Juttha Thep, Kun Chai Ronapi. I played as Kun Chai Ronapi, and instantly after I got the role, before even getting to film, getting to anything, just like some pictures went out online. And this was back in the days where there was only Pantip. So only Pantip web.
It was that long time ago, right?
It was 12 years ago. There was no Twitter back then, or X, sorry. There was no Facebook, just kind of...
I call it Twitter too.
Facebook just started. So back in the day, it was, if you wanted to know whether people liked you or not, it was all on Pantip. So what I got was a lot of... let's use the word disagreements to be kind. Use the word disagreements on me being Kun Chai Ronapi because it was a novel, and people who read novels will have pictures in their heads, right? Which is totally fine, and you're entitled to do that. Where it went kind of wrong, or for me, was that it was my first series, and I went to read all those comments. You know, I read all. I wouldn't say hate comments, but they were disagreements about me being the role.
Sound very strong.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
People, because if you have a clear picture, if you had a clear picture in your head and you disagreed with it, you would let that person know, right?
Especially when you love the novels, right?
Exactly.
You
And
have to say something.
definitely, and people who read the novels will always feel that way, and they're entitled to. But I got a lot, and it was my first one, so it was hard to handle. I'll be honest with you, it was very hard to handle, and thinking back, I still feel very surprised of how I actually got through it. So I got a lot of hate, disagreements. I'm not gonna use the word hate because they're not really hate. Disagreements and it was hard for my first lakon. That's why I feel that every single lakon is like my first lakon because that still sticks to me. So when you say experience, it doesn't really do much because I still feel nervous about every lakon, every single role I do, even 10 years on, I still feel that nervousness, that twitch.
Yeah.
Because that happened to me on my first lakon. So it's always putting me on my guard, on my feet to do well. Yeah, that's why I feel that that really shaped me for who I am today.
But I bet it got better with like handling your own emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It was you could say it was tough love.
Yeah,
It's definitely
exactly.
tough love because I've said this before, but what I did was after reading all those comments, I used those comments to shape the character. So like I was reading like, okay, what's wrong with me? I know I can't change how I look, correct? I know I don't look like what they thought the character should look like. So the only thing I could do is just kind of like do my best, right? So I read all those comments. I actually use all those disagreements to shape the character
and own it yourself.
And so have everyone as a part of the character. It's not just me and the director. It's also you, everyone who wrote, thank you, and no thank you.
But it's a very good point that you kind of got that they didn't want to hate you.
Yeah.
As a person or as an actor, right?
Yeah.
Because it's...
Of course, initially I felt that way.
Yeah.
Everybody, we're all natural, right? If somebody says something bad to you, you think that they hate you already. But actually, even though if they did or if they do, doesn't really matter because at the time, I had to keep on going forward. I couldn't back out. I couldn't drop. I couldn't just say, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore. Okay. So I just went through it. And it also became one of my most famous roles.
Yeah. And what was your internal dialogue like? Like, I'll show you. I'll prove it to you. Or is it something like that?
No,
not at all.
I don't like to. If I'm gonna say I'll show you, I'll say it. I'll say it to myself.
Okay.
Like I'll be like here, and I'll say I'll show you, as in like I'll show myself that I can do it. I wouldn't say it to anybody else because I feel like by saying I'll show you, it's because I'm doing something for someone else. But actually, if you want to improve, you should do it for yourself. It's like if you have a good health, right? The good health should be for you.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be for another person.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'll buff up for you.
No. I'll get healthy for you. No, you'll get healthy for yourself.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where. And at the same time, I feel there's no use to go out and say that to someone else. Might as well start by yourself. And yeah, that's what I kind of did. Every day on set, I'll just be like, all right, do the best you can. I'll assess myself after every day. Like, did you do well? What grade did you get? A, B, C. I'll ask my manager, did I do any good? Was it okay? And that will be the cycle. Still to this day, really. I mean, that cycle still happens. People will not. I think because they've seen me grow a lot and they've accepted me more than my first one. People tend to not comment like that anymore. There's still some, which is great. It's healthy feedback for me, but it's less now. So I have less people to ask about how to make this character. But at the same time, I'll find my own ways. Like I'll try to do like my best at every single role. Yeah. And I'll try to keep the cycle the same because I believe if something works, don't change it.
Yeah. And I heard, because I have never been in a con or movie myself, but I've heard that it's very different. Even though it's acting in front of a camera, but it's a lot different.
You know the thing that I thought the same thing too.
Yeah.
Until I did this one. And nowadays it's the same.
Really?
I'll share some examples. Whereas, let's just say before, a day of filming lakon would be like 20 something scenes.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's only like around 10 scenes. because of the way of filming TV series has changed. Let's just say, I wouldn't use the word improve, but it's changed. With the equipment that we have nowadays, it takes more time to film a scene. And when I did my movie, I thought like, all right, it's gonna take a long time. We did 10 scenes per day as well.
Really?
So it's very similar in terms of the way you work now. And my director and the team made it very easy for me because I actually said, oh, is it very different? This is my first movie, I'm not really sure what to do. They said, just do the same that you've been doing. Just do the same as Lacan. Just do what you've been doing. As long as you're the character, it's fine. The rest is up to me. So that made it very easy for me. But the only thing that is different is working hours. Lacan is usually they start at 7 or 8 a.m. They finish at 10 p.m. That's the standard for a TV series. It's a 14-hour work, whereas the movie is a 12-hour work. But the 12-hour work can happen from any time in the 24 hours. So it could be like a 3 p.m. call time and a 3 a.m. finish time, wrap-up time, which is a very interesting experience for me, but I loved it.
Okay, let's talk about it. Tell us about what it's all about.
The Eternal Bond. In Thai, it's called Nakaban.
Right.
The English name is Eternal Bond. And basically, it's a movie that talks about. Well, it's set in World War II, and I play as a Thai spy. And it's a movie that mentions and talks about the story. You could say the storyline of a family and the storyline ofองพญานาค. If nobody knows,องพญานาคis a mythical creature in Thai religion, very well respected, very well loved by people all over Thailand. And my movie combines two storylines together. So I have my storyline, which is in World War II. I play a spy. I go investigate, about a house, a family, and throughout the whole movie, people start to die. so it becomes a thriller as well.
Yeah.
And in the end, the storyline of the Payanak, you could say, intercepts together, combines together to become one big storyline. All questions are answered.
Yeah. So Nakaban, we can't wait.
Oh, I can't wait too because I finished filming and it should be next year.
Yeah. You have dream roles?
Oh.
That you kind of want to see yourself in?
Like I said, I do like historical roles. So if I had a chance to play a character in time, it would be awesome. So that's why I like historical films because, like I said, you get to be someone else in a different time. The whole thing is different. The whole feel is different.
Yeah.
And that's one of the roles that I hope I get to do more.
Yeah. Being in the industry for quite a long time now, and you still have that sparkles in your eyes when you
definitely.
Talk about acting or maybe possible future work that I might enjoy.
Yeah.
It is a great thing to see that you still have the passion going on.
I totally agree. Every opportunity that comes, my mom always said, be thankful, appreciate everything that comes your way, whether it's big or small, good or bad, you have to appreciate it. When I was young, I didn't understand that. But now growing older, 31 right now, I understand that a lot more because sometimes opportunity doesn't come by often. The chance to get to do something doesn't come by often. Sometimes it won't come at all. And I understand that more. And I think that by appreciating everything more, having that sparkle more to do anything is like going back to day one of work. Just to be able to get to work is a privilege, right?
Yeah.
Work shouldn't be I don't want to use it. Work should be fun. It shouldn't be a job. I mean, it's easier said than done. Everyone has different experiences, but to be able to do something or anything should be appreciated. Yeah. That's one thing that's why I still have that sparkle because at 31, there are still things that I want to do and I hope to do it. But like I said, if I don't get to do it, it's fine. I'm happy with everything that comes on a daily basis.
Yeah. I love what your mom said. It's opportunities and it's something that people might take it like differently or treat it differently. It's up to you to grab it or let it go or to take a risk or to play safe. It's totally up to you. Yeah. And speaking of your mom, she's from Hong Kong, right?
Yes, my mom's Hong Kong.
Do you still go back and visit Hong Kong? Oh, of course,
all
because
the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, you even went there and like drove around.
Yes. Yeah, that was for the one of my YouTube channel, YouTube show that I do, and I still go back to Hong Kong every year, at least 2-3 times a year.
Yeah,
because my mom and sister still lives and works there.
Yeah, so you've seen how it kind of changed.
Yep.
Yeah, it has changed a lot too. Because I used to go to Hong Kong like when I was very little, and then I went to Hong Kong again when I was like 5-6 years back, and it's changed a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even from the tourism standpoint, it's totally different. I mean, back in the day, it was very traditional. Now it's still traditional, but there are more, you could say, destinations for people to go. There are more places for people to take pictures. They've evolved, like Thailand has evolved. You know, cafes, picture spots, food, Michelin stars. You know, transportation. Everything has evolved very much like Thailand has evolved, and Hong Kong definitely has evolved. But for me, Hong Kong is still the same place as I've seen it since I was young. You know, going into the MTR, which is the underground train, taking the bus, taking the taxi. Yes, everything has gone up in price, but you know, that's the world for you, right?
So what would you say is your like fondest memory when you were little in Hong Kong? Or do you have any favorite spots?
Well, for me, actually, favorite spot would be one of the golf courses in Hong Kong. Yeah, because back when I was in Hong Kong, I couldn't play golf that much. I could only play golf in my after school activity, and that was hosted by the school. So we would go to.
Oh, you started that early?
Yeah, I played golf since I was 3 years old.
Wow.
But in Thailand it was easy, right? Because there's golf courses everywhere. But in Hong Kong, it's a private thing. There's only 1 or 2 public courses in Hong Kong, and it's in the middle of the ocean. So to go there, it's very hard. So I was gonna say that my best memory of being in Hong Kong was getting to go play golf, which was a treat for me back in the day. That's why I kind of cherish that memory a lot, because to go to a golf course in Hong Kong, I had to travel for 2 hours with public transport. I had to take the train, take the bus, take the boat to the middle of the ocean. And that was one full day that I got to play golf for the whole day, and it was the best feeling ever. Yep.
So
this was when I was
very special, right?
Yeah, it was very. This was when I was 13 or 14.
I see.
Yep. Okay. It's very special, and I still hope I can do that trip again. Yep.
And now you still play golf a lot.
A lot, yep.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say a lot. I wouldn't say, you know, overly a lot. Just like once or twice a week, which for some people is a lot, but some people will do it like 3-4 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
3-4 times, is that like the standard for someone who's like into golfing?
Well, it depends. Like some people who's really into golfing will do 3-4 days of golf.
Okay.
Professionals will do it 3-4 days of golf because it's their profession, right?
Okay.
For me, 1 or 2 days is sufficient and is just the right amount.
Right.
Because I have other things I need to think about. Because once you go out in the sun, the sun is no good for your for your skin. So I have to maintain that for work. And at the same time, it's also a balance between your body as well. Because if you play too much golf, you're gonna get the chances of you getting injured is high. Yep. If you don't maintain yourself correctly. Yep. So it's a good work-life sport balance.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It sounds very wholesome to me that you get to work and then you get to do other things outside of work that you still enjoy and very passionate about. You have your golfing, you have your driving around. And lately you've had a very special person on your passenger seat too. And so you took a drive with her. So let's talk about this person in your life. So Pai.
This person is Pai. She is if she's my special one. She's the special one. She's my you could say partner, friend, girlfriend. Gives me chills saying it, but it's great. It's great. She is that one. Yep, she is the one.
Okay. How did you know? Did you know right away?
No, because I knew her a long time ago. Because we are in the same management team, and I worked with her 5 years ago. I didn't know back then that she would be the one.
And you're not the kind of like celebrities or stars who has like daily relationship drama or like went out to like
I'm the boring
person.
type. I'm the boring guy who doesn't go into any of that. It's not that it's not a bad thing. Just to point it out. I mean, love is very personal for everybody. Everybody experiences it differently. But for me, I'm the boring type. Sadly, I don't like to dive into relationships if I don't feel it's the right thing.
Yeah.
The good thing is I won't face disappointment as much, if you understand what I mean. I won't feel that. I try to not feel disappointed, but at the same time, I am quite lonely most of the time, and I'm quite alone. I wouldn't use the word lonely. I'm most of the time alone. So
like on your own, you don't need another person. You don't need to be in a relationship.
No, I don't, unless I really feel that I need to be.
Okay.
And that was the case, so it was quite, I knew her for 5 years. We were very close in terms of friend, work relationship, a brother and sister relationship. And I said this before, after working with her officially in Prolac Because of Love, it was a lakon we did together. We played together as the starring roles. Yeah, it changed from that day on, actually. It just felt different. I've said this before, it felt different. I used the word before the weather changed, but I'm going to give you another analogy today. Yeah. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. You know what I mean? The feeling of knowing that knowing that she is the one it just happened. And it just is something that was kind of like obvious. But at the same time, you questioned it a bit. But I kind of realized that 1 + 1 = 2 when we finished filming, when we wrapped up promotions, and I kind of realized that I wouldn't get to see her much. And at the same time, everybody from work was kind of like, teasing me and giving me like, come on, go on, give it a go, son. Like,
Yeah.
And then, I think everything just aligned perfectly. And in that instant, I knew that 1 + 1 = 2. Yep.
So it's not like the roller coaster ride or super excited or super exciting experience, like, but it kind of gradually developing into this great new thing.
Definitely. I think it wasn't very exciting. I'll be honest with you. It wasn't very exciting, but it was very wholesome. It was very warm. It's like it was like feeling complete.
Yeah.
It was like life was complete. Yeah, I would say that would be a good way to say it. You just felt that you made it. Finally. Yay. But at the same time, it just felt very natural. Why I say 1 + 1 = 2 is because 1 + 1 will equal 2, right? So it was always like 1 + 1 in the past, but the =2 just took some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. And then that's how I knew.
Yeah. Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of things you do outside of work, you mentioned earlier that you have your YouTube channel.
Yep.
Okay. So is you driving around? You go and have fun?
Yeah. I just want to do things that the YouTube channel happened because I wanted to try something new.
Yeah.
I wanted to come out of my comfort zone. I usually don't speak that much. I'm not very good at speaking. I'll be honest with you right now. I'm not very good at conducting or doing what you do. Let's just say like to start a conversation or to say something. It's something I wouldn't usually do. I just don't feel so comfortable doing it. But I wanted to try this YouTube thing. So I started with a couple of friends. And Pai's doing it with me right now. It's fun. It's hard. It's so hard to talk to the camera and say things that even though I like driving, I like cars a lot, but to be the host is very hard.
Yeah.
And I've realized that, but I'm happy with how it's come out because I just want people. First of all, I just want people to see me in a different point of view. I want people to see what I do when I go on trips. So when I go to Hong Kong, I will drive around. I will take you to just do the same things over and over again, even though it might be boring, but then, I still do the same things over and over again every time I go to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And as I've said, I like driving cars. I like cars in general. Yeah, I'm like a car geek. You could say. I like to research about cars.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you said this on Alex's podcast.
Did I? Because I like cars a lot.
Right. Yeah. And you know a lot about cars too, right?
I'd say if you put me on a car quiz, I do pretty good.
Yeah.
I might get a B- or something.
So basically, you said if we put you on a car quiz,
oh no,
you'd be doing really good.
Yes.
Okay.
I did say that. Now I remember.
Let's prove it right
prove
now.
It.
Yeah, car quiz.
Car quiz.
First time ever. Like specially designed.
Even on your show?
Yeah. First time ever. Okay. Specially designed for James Ma.
Yes.
Okay. All right. It might not be the kind of knowledge or information that you possess, but it's still has to do with cars.
Got
right?
It.
Okay.
Let's give it a go.
Okay. You wouldn't happen to know what the best-selling car model of all time is, would you?
I know it's a Ford.
Do you think it's a Ford?
I know it's a Ford.
You know for a fact it's a Ford.
I'm pretty sure it's a Ford.
Actually, it's a Japanese car. You want to try again?
No, I don't want to try. All right. Let me think about it again.
Of all time.
Of all time.
Since its first introduction into the market in 1966.
See, that's when you get excited, you hear things wrong. I missed the all time. All right.
It's
of
Japanese.
All time. It's Japanese.
Yeah.
And worldwide?
Worldwide, yes.
All right. So if it's worldwide, it has to be something that will be on sale worldwide. And it has to be a name of a car that is worldwide too. Because some cars change names when they go to different places.
Good point. Yes.
All right. All right. I think I got two names.
Okay.
It starts with a C. The brand starts with a T.
Yes.
And the make of the car starts with a C.
Yes.
Okay. Is it a Toyota Corolla?
That's correct.
So happy.
So Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, because
50 million units sold worldwide since 1966.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought Ford was probably the brand Ford, but never mind.
Because it's like the first car ever, right?
Ever.
Yeah.
All right, understood. That's an easy question.
Yeah.
How did I get it
let's
wrong?
Let's try this one.
All right.
Okay.
That's a warm up.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
What is the second most common car color worldwide?
All right.
Second.
So it's either white or black. Right? It's either white or black. All right.
So you think black is number one or number two?
That's depends on where you're from. If you're from Asia, it's white.
But
if you're from America, black is the second most common.
Black is second most common?
Yep.
Correct. Of course, white is number one, right?
Yeah, because it's easy to see and it's easy to. Apparently, it's easy to maintain as well. Because black, you get scratches. And the scratch becomes white. Where if you get scratches on the white, it just kind of stays white.
What color is your car?
Blue. Right now it's blue and orange.
Blue. Okay. Is that your favorite colors when it comes to cars?
Yeah, I like shiny cars, and I like cars with funny colors because it disturbs people. So when I drive my car to the set, my car is the first one to get moved because like if they shoot, it's like black, white, orange, and then they're like, "Can you please move his car?"
Okay, the owner of the orange car, please come and
move your car, please. All right, fine. Move
okay, all right. Wow, great. 2 points. All right.
2 points.
So
how many are there?
7.
Oh God.
Okay.
All right. There you go.
Number 3. Which car company was the first to include seat belts as standard equipment?
Oh wow! As standard equipment. So
you're allowed to ask one question.
So this is going back in the day, I'm guessing 1940, 1950. Back in the day, it was only German, American, Japanese just started, but I don't think Japanese would include standard equipment.
You're on the right track. It's European.
Yeah. Is it American?
No.
Oh.
Actually, this car is very famous or very like best known for its like safety. That.
Starts with a V.
Yes.
It's a Volvo.
It is a Volvo.
But which Volvo? That's the question.
I don't know either. But Volvo is the first car company that includes like specifically the 3-point seatbelt, not just like one like across your lap, but like 3 points.
Yeah, I get a half point there. Or a full point if you're generous.
Yes. Okay.
Volvo. There you go.
All right. So this one you have to know your history a little.
Oh no.
Okay. Going back to 1961, I guess. So, what car did JFK was in when he was assassinated?
Cadillac.
Yes. No.
No?
Actually, it's not.
Oh, all right. And
It's not Cadillac.
it could either be.
It's the presidential limo.
Nowadays
right?
it's a Cadillac, but before it wasn't.
Actually, it has the name of another president too. Starting with an L?
Oh, Lincoln.
A Lincoln, yes. Lincoln Continental.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the famous
limo.
Famous limo. Okay. All right. Which car is known as the People's Car and was originally commissioned by Adolf Hitler?
The People's Car commissioned
People's Car.
by Adolf Hitler.
Yeah. So by saying people's car, it's meant to be like an affordable, more accessible for like more citizens to own one. Yeah.
All right. History again. This is hard actually. I'm guessing it has to be German. Yeah, it has to be German.
Of course.
I'm gonna. It starts with a V.
Yes.
VW. Beetle.
Yes. Correct. Right. Volkswagen.
Yes, because it's that's the motto, I guess. It's affordable and good cars.
Yes. All right. You're doing great, actually.
Well, I only got one wrong so far.
So the next one
God.
is a picture question.
Oh, okay. Now we're talking.
Can you name this car and tell me where we can find it?
Where I can find? Oh, that's a Batmobile. Batman.
Yes, it's a Batmobile.
You can find that in GTA as well. If you play GTA, there's a mod that you can get that car. Yes.
Do you know the name of this model?
No, I
of
actually
the car?
don't. I just know it's a Batmobile.
Yeah, it's a
What is it?
Batmobile from
Batman Begins.
Yeah, from the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, yeah,
yep. Christopher Nolan's
Yep.
rendition of Batmobile. So it's a Tumbler. It's called a Tumbler.
Right. That's a good one.
Would you drive in something like this?
No.
It's not your thing, huh?
I might get in it and take a picture, but I'm not driving it because it's probably worth so much.
I know.
It's probably worth so much.
Last one.
Okay. Right. Well, I got most right, so I haven't failed.
Yes. So who does this car belong to?
It's probably Fred Flintstone.
Yes. Flintstone's family.
Yeah. And you have to like do this.
True. Like
to drive it.
Cardio.
Yeah.
Actually, it's cardio.
It must be heavy. There. Leg day for you right there.
Yeah. Okay, you're doing great.
Thank you.
6.5.
Let's just say 5.5.
5.5. Okay. So you know your cars.
I do.
All right.
I like to just stock up on information when I can. It's just one of those things that you like. And not only cars, but I like to know my stuff when I like it. So I try to be an expert at a few things that you really like, but not an expert at everything because it's too much to put in your brain.
True, yeah.
Just to be an expert in a few things or try to be an expert in a few things is enough.
It's fun, right?
Yeah, it's
just
fun.
to know your
just
stuff.
Just to know your stuff, and if the occasion, like nowadays, like let's just say cars, people will phone me up and ask me about, have you driven this car before? What is it like? What do you think about the resale value? Of course, I'll get it wrong from time to time, but most of the time I'll know my stuff. Or even golf, like people will phone me up and ask me about golf, how to hit this shot, how to do this. I'm doing this. What's wrong? I'll tend to know because I've been through a lot as well.
Yeah. When I first started this podcast, I was studying a lot about how to make a podcast. And one thing people teach is that you know what your podcast should be about when people come to you for a certain like topics
Yeah.
or certain things. So that would show that you're an expert or you have a passion that is known to like people, and that should be your podcast.
So my podcast
Yeah.
should be about cars and golf.
Sure, why not? Of course, or you can combine two things.
More golf than
Yeah.
cars, but because I didn't get it all right. If I got it all right, I would have done it. We would be doing one soon.
It's a lot of fun. It's
Yes,
a lot
it
of
was a
fun.
lot of
And
fun.
it's a lot of fun talking to you today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and as we expected, because once we watched you and Alex talk,
Yep.
I was like, oh God, I want to be in that conversation too. I bet he's a great guy to talk to. And
Thank you.
I am right.
Thank
Turned
you.
out.
I mean, today's been very fun as well.
I love it, and
Yep.
actually, I wish for more like English content from you because not a lot of people can do what you can. Like,
Thank you.
to speak English and like deliver content.
I'll give you a little secret. When I was in Hong Kong, my worst subject was English.
Really?
Yep. Out of all the subjects I did in Hong Kong was English. And
But that is in school, right?
in school.
Yeah.
And you know my speaking, reading, listening, writing. Which one do you think was the worst?
I think writing.
No, speaking.
Speaking?
I failed on most of my speaking exams
Really?
because back in the day I was not confident with what I was doing. I wasn't confident with my voice. I wasn't confident with you could say how to speak English. And this might sound weird, but then this is true. I really didn't like to speak. And I still don't really speak much formally. But and I think after moving back to Thailand and also doing what I do in work, it built up my confidence. And by doing bachelor degree and master degrees at Assumption University, ABAC, I always use English more in classes, right? You have to present in English. Master degree, you have to talk to all these doctors in English. That helped me more. Helped me improve my English. Sounds funny to say, but I still improve my language on a daily basis. And that's why I've been able to be able to speak more freely, get out my words better. It's not just because I was born with the skill. I had to develop it because I failed my speaking exams, when I was in school. And by slowly developing it, having more confidence to do anything in life, that all relates to how you can be able to speak. So that's a little secret I never told anybody. I used to fail my speaking exams in English.
And that's a great story, and I think it would help a lot of people who are watching right now.
Definitely.
And they feel like they have all the problems that you have mentioned earlier, that you don't have the confidence, you hate your voice, you hate the way you speak, and you don't know how to make an impression of yourself speaking English. But well, one thing that I have learned in the same way as you have is you have to take a risk and put yourself in a not very comfortable situation just to push yourself over that hill. Right?
Definitely.
Yeah, and then you'll get better.
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Such a great tip.
That's one thing I never told anybody before, and just for you
We appreciate that.
and you guys.
Yeah. All right. So one question I ask all of my guests, and of course our show is called Community, and we think it's fascinating to learn about a person or a person's experience or life through their words, like their favorite words or the word that they use a lot.
Yep.
So I would like to know what is James Ma's community? Yeah, in all the languages you speak.
All right, let's do Thai first.
Okay.
My community in Thai is เอาใจเขามาใส่ใจเรา This is perfect, and this one you can't translate into English. Only it's a Thai, very Thai saying by putting somebody's heart in your own heart, or stepping on somebody's shoes. Yeah. So by
but it gives different like vibe, right?
Yeah, but in Thai it's so much more, it's so much
it
softer.
rhymes, it like has deep meanings.
It's just like you just have to think before you say or do anything what the other person would feel. So put his feelings in your own feelings, and then kind of assess yourself whether you should or should not do what you're about to do. And that's like a very good saying. It works for everywhere, especially in Thailand, and it doesn't hurt to be mindful of what people feel and what people's hearts are. yeah, and that would be my favorite because it doesn't happen in anywhere else except for Thailand. And for comedy in English is one word that my dad uses every day, and I really didn't like this word, and I still don't really like this word, is realize.
Realize.
It's very simple.
Wow, why?
My dad will always say like, whatever happens in life, but if you don't realize why you did it or what you are doing, it doesn't matter at all. There's no point in continuing what you're doing or moving on or learning if you don't realize. So let's just say if you did this thing wrong, if you don't realize why it happened or what was the reason behind it, there's no point in moving on.
Yeah.
If you don't realize that what you're doing right now is you've gone off track, there's no point in moving on.
Oh, great wisdom from dad. But why did you say you didn't like this word
Because
so much?
I never understood what it meant. It was very annoying. He would always say that, but I didn't understand like what am I supposed to do about it?
Yeah.
So let's just say if
What is the action of realizing things? How?
How do I realize? I don't like it. I just know I don't like it. I don't. Let's just say I argue with my sister. You know, I have a quarrel with my mom, or I don't do well in school. He's like, if you don't realize, like, stop saying it.
Stop saying realize.
I don't understand what that means. But then, of course, as time went on, you understand. It's kind of like the art of accepting. If I be honest with you, it realize is like the big word, but the small word is like accepting. Accepting defeat, accepting the truth. It's hard to be able to accept that you did something wrong, that you went off track, that you said something wrong. It's hard to be able to accept the reality, I guess.
Yeah.
So realize reality, kind of same stuff. It's hard, but you know, it took me a while to understand, but I hope everyone will understand it better. It's hard to do. I don't expect everybody to be able to do it because I guess I still can't do it all the time because my dad still says it to me. but yeah, I guess that's my comedy in English, realize.
This is the first time on our show that our guest would pick some word that he doesn't like so much. But I'll pick this word, but I do not like it.
I'll be honest. Would you like it? Sorry. Would you like it? I mean, but it's a good word. It's a strong word. It's a simple word, and it's easy to remember.
Yeah.
And I think even our Thai audiences will know, will understand that word because it's not too complicated.
Right.
But it's so powerful. Yep.
Wow, this is so great. Fun conversation and a lot we learned from you today. And it's a great thing that we know that we can expect more from this guy in the future, like Lakon and more movies probably if you're having so much fun doing
more
this
English
movie.
content.
More English content, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, and go and subscribe to his YouTube channel if you haven't already. You can just search James Ma, right?
Yep.
And you have this like car content.
Yeah, it's the channel is called Auto Skin Drive, and the show is called Let's Drive. But it's
you put
not,
it on the screen right now.
Yeah, I don't do it that much because I feel like I'll do it when I have the opportunity to. When the time comes and it feels right to do it, then I'll do it. But then most of the time you can just watch me on my socials and definitely watch the show. I mean, I've never been able to express myself more, please watch this show. Thank you so much.
Okay, so comment on this episode, like put anything that you want to say to him or ask him. So I'll send it over to him too.
Yes,
and just let him know that you're supporting him.
I'll be watching too. I'll be reading all your comments because I like to read comments. If you give me hate comments, it doesn't matter because I'll still read them. I'll still read them, but thank you.
Okay, all right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And I wish you all the luck in the world. And
thank you.
Just please have fun with everything that you do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
More English content.
Yes.
Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ